Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is Troy, your host. We are live and recording.
Thank you, Troy. Pastor Pohemus, will you please come forward? If you'd like to stand, please join us.
Well, I have the honor of doing an invocation today. And first of all, I just want to thank Commissioner Abe, Laura, and George just for the amazing work that they do. And for all of Douglas County, we are so blessed to be in a county that has such amazing people working and part of it, including Doug, who leads the county. So I'm just going to pray here and we'll go from there. So Lord, we just thank you. We thank you for this time. Lord, we just ask you to have your way today. I pray for a spirit of wisdom and revelation to be upon our commissioners, Lord, as they go about the work that they need to accomplish, just as Solomon prayed and asked the Lord in 2 Chronicles, when he asked the Lord for wisdom to lead the people. Lord, I thank you for these commissioners who humble themselves, Lord, before you. And Lord, they desire your wisdom. You say it in James 1:5 that when we ask for wisdom, you give it freely. So I pray today, I pray even from this day forward, Lord, that there would be wisdom that would be poured out. Not worldly wisdom, but a spiritual wisdom and an understanding to walk in your ways and to lead the people, Lord, the way that you desire them to go. Lord, I thank you for a county that is set apart unto you. And that, Lord, in the wisdom there is blessing. And I just pray your blessing. I pray your blessing over the commissioners and their families, over the staff and their families. But Lord, I ask you to bless this county. I ask that there would be a blessing commanded upon this county as we walk in a spirit of unity together as one. So Father, thank you for what you're doing. In Jesus' name, amen. And if I can just close, this is a verse I just want to read. We're going to be meeting with 400, it's called the 400 Gathering. 400 churches are coming together. And this is something the Lord just put on my heart. It's a scripture verse from Philippians 2 in the Passion Translation. And so I'll just close with this. I feel like it's for our county, it's for our state, and it's so critically important for us as we love one another. It says this, it says, "Be free from pride-filled opinions, for they will only harm your cherished unity. Don't allow self-promotion to hide in your hearts, but in authentic humility, put others first and view others as more important than yourselves. Abandon every display of selfishness and possess a greater concern for what matters to others rather than our own interests." So that is for our churches, especially for our pastors, but I think for all of us in general. So God bless you guys, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you. So good afternoon and welcome to the Douglas County Board of County Commissioners business meeting. Today is Tuesday, August 10th, 2021, and it is 1:33 in the afternoon. Would you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to today's meeting. Mr. Ingalls is appearing virtually upstairs. Mr. Ingalls, do we have certification for everything on today's agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, we do. My office has reviewed all items on today's agenda and they all meet legal approval.
Thank you, Mr. Ingalls. Do any commissioners have any disclosures for any items on today's agenda?
No, ma'am.
None, thank you.
And I have none either. We'll move on to citizen comment. If there are any citizens who would like to address the board on any issue, please come forward. Please do come forward. If you could give us your name, spell your last name and your address, and you will have 3 minutes.
I'm sorry?
You will have 3 minutes.
James Horine, Mike Horine, 8865 Cottonwood Way, Parker, Colorado.
80134, Horine, Horine. I am here to ask you to reconsider your decision on the Cottonwood water and trash proposal. I am asking you to use good common sense in this decision instead of the legal opinion of the county's attorney. Amanda King, Senior Research Analyst, Colorado Legislative Council, wrote me and told me House Bill 20-1074 allows sanitation and water districts to provide residential solid water service regardless of the population of the district or county. However, House Bill 20-1074 did not amend Section 32-1-207, Paragraph 2, Subsection A of the CRS. Therefore, the law concerning service plan amendments remain unchanged. Law 32-1-207 clearly states special districts cannot provide services that are not in their service plan, yet the attorney for the county does not seem to understand that. How much plainer can that be? Cottonwood is allowed water and sewer services only. 32-1207 compliance, modification, enforcement. 1, upon final approval by the court for organization of the special district, the facilities, the services, and the financial arrangements of the special district shall conform so far as practicable to the approved service plan. Water and sewer only. 32-1-207 Paragraph 2, subsection A defines new services to a special district as a material modification. This is simple, folks. New trash service, as defined by law, is a material modification, period. Cottonwood does not have trash service in the district and never has, and I don't know how to make it any plainer to any of you three. I sent you a letter on Sunday. You need to take the time to read it. It's a 10-minute read. I am respectfully asking you to do this. I believe the county attorney has a conflict of interest in this matter and should recuse himself in his department. Use your own good common sense. There is nothing wrong with that. Water and sewer services do not equal water, sewer, and trash, no matter how you cut it. And the voluntary service that they have changed to is the same service we have today. It's voluntary. All these benefits, it's the same. Why do you want to allow them to do something that we already have? It is redundant. It makes no sense. And you shouldn't allow this to go forward. Declare this a material modification. If they really want trash service, then have them go through the material modification request and submit it to the county, and then hold your public hearing so the public can appear before you and tell you that we don't need it. And if they do that, you're required by state law to vote it down because we already have trash service. Special Article 32 is not to take services away from our residents. Private enterprise, that's not what it's there for.
Thank you, Mr. Horine.
Thank you. And please read my email from Sunday.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other citizens present in the hearing room who would like to address the board? Seeing no one come forward, Troy, is there anyone online who would like to address the board?
I have no online comments at this time.
Thank you. We'll close citizen comment then and move to the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the requests in all items A through Q of the consent agenda.
I will second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to regular agenda, item A. And item A is a resolution creating a Public Health Advisory Committee and making appointments to that committee. Barbara Drake, the Deputy County Manager for staff.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Barbara Drake for staff. You have in front of you a resolution creating an ad hoc Public Health Advisory Committee and making appointments to that committee. If approved, the Public Health Advisory Committee will consist of 11 members appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. The committee will provide guidance and insight from a citizen perspective for the Douglas County Community Health Assessment and Public Health Improvement Plan and assist in evaluating the feasibility of transitioning to an independent local public health agency for Douglas County.
Thank you, Ms. Drake. Any comments?
I just have a brief comment. Barbara, thank you so much for that and for presenting this today. I think no doubt for our citizens, for Douglas County, for the purposes of protecting public health, for those we represent, it is a really critical step to move forward today. We're thankful for all of the phenomenal applications we received with truly expert credentials. And no doubt we appreciate the hard work of all of the public officials that have engaged with us, both through the pandemic and beyond. And we're looking forward to working together collaboratively as we head into the future. So thank you for that.
Commissioner Teal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, Barbara, thanks so much. This was a chunk of work that came out of a kind of a wild idea on how to move forward. And so I really appreciate the work you did, picking up the ball, getting it organized from just a kind of a crazy idea to something real. But then I'd also like to go ahead and turn attention and thank the individuals that we'll be appointing here shortly for stepping forward. This is not going to be a paid position unless Barbara snuck something through on us. And so these are folks that are volunteering their time to help their neighbors, help us solve what has become, if not a problem, definitely a real issue here in the community in terms of what is the public health solution for Douglas County. So for our 11 board members that we're going to approve here shortly, I really want to extend a thanks to them for stepping forward to help lead us through and help us all come through this period we're in.
Commissioner Teal, would you like to read their names?
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Chair. Folks, these are the 11 people we're appointing to the Public Health Advisory Committee. First is Douglas Benevento, Luke Neforitos. Did I get that at all horrible or right? Donald Parrott, Kevin Bracken, Jennifer Green, Mark Hampton, Katie Coleman, Kelsey Hall, Mary Beth Vasco, Kimberly Aloe, and Catherine Wiley. If anybody's listening in and watching today and you know any of these individuals, please give them a big thank you from all of us. They will have some work to do over the coming months.
Thank you, Commissioner Teal. So when we first embarked on this endeavor, we decided that each commissioner would appoint 3 people to this important board. And after we started looking at the applicants, there were 52 applicants who were finished and who finished their applications, 52 people. And as I was reading each and every one of them, I thought, how in the world am I going to pick just 3 of these individuals? We have real talent in this county. One individual is a county attorney in another county who represents the health department in that county. And that person is willing to get on this committee of ours. They're going to know really what the health department in her county does. So I really think they're going to provide excellent input for us. And that's just one of the 52. So I approached my fellow commissioners and said, hey, I know we agreed on 9, but can we bump it up a little bit? And they graciously agreed to do that. And I think that just shows that we don't have any preconceived ideas about what's going to happen, but we're really reaching out to our community because we want them to advise us on the best steps going forward. So I'd like to thank my fellow commissioners for that opportunity. With that, I'm going to open this item up for citizen comment. Are there any citizens who in the room who would like to address the board on this topic? Seeing no one in the hearing room, Troy, is there anyone online?
I believe I have Bill Vincent that would like to comment on this, but I've been unable to confirm that, so I'm going to go ahead and unmute him. Bill, you are unmuted. Go ahead.
Bill, are you unmuted?
Mr. Vincent? Okay, I have chatted him a couple of times, have not heard back, and it appears he does not have sound.
Okay.
I have no other comments.
Thank you. I suspect that he wanted to do open citizen comment. So we are going to go ahead with this item. If you are able to get him unmuted, we will give him the opportunity since he's having some technical difficulties to address us after these items are over. Troy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. With that, I will close citizen comment and bring it back to the board. Are there any final comments before we take a motion?
I have none.
I have none, but I'm happy to make a motion at this time, Chair.
Please do. Thank you.
Chair, if it pleases the board, I'd like to make a motion to approve a resolution creating a Public Health Advisory Committee and making appointments to that committee as stated during prior comments.
Second.
Have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. Thank you. Barbara, you have the next item also?
I do. Thank you again, Commissioners. Barbara Drake for staff. And this next item is to have the Commissioners approve bylaws for the newly created Public Health Advisory Committee. Since this is an ad hoc committee that was created specifically to give feedback and input to the Board of County Commissioners, we drafted bylaws to govern the operations of this committee so they could hit the ground running and begin their work on day one.
Thank you, Barbara. Any comments?
I have none.
Only comment I alluded to earlier. Thanks a lot, Barbara. You really took the lead on these bylaws. They look great. I think they're going to help the committee out in keeping themselves organized.
Thank you, Commissioner Teal. I agree, Barbara. You did a great job getting all this organized and put together and put the information on paper for us to agree to, and I think you've done a great lead on this for us, so thank you. With that, I'll open public comment. Are there any comments from citizens about this topic? Seeing no one come forward, Troy, is there anyone online?
I have no other comments on this item.
Thank you. I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
If there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion to approve the bylaws for the newly created Public Health Advisory Committee.
Second.
Have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. Thank you, and thank you, Barbara, for your help. Going on to item number C, this is a contract with broadband services in the amount of $139,815. Holly Carroll for staff.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you. Yes, Holly Carroll for staff. The item before you today is a contract with HR Green Fiber and Broadband LLC to conduct a comprehensive study of internet access and service levels in unincorporated Douglas County. A request for information was posted for proposals to deliver the specialized study, and 5 submittals were received. A selection committee was convened, and HR Green was identified as the preferred vendor based on their ability to meet the technical requirements. The objective of this study is to identify areas where citizens are underserved and facilitate connections with broadband providers in order to improve reliability as well as upload and download speeds. The contractor will collaborate with municipalities in neighboring jurisdictions to understand plans to extend existing networks and create opportunities to work together. They will also reach out to service providers to learn where obstacles exist to completing middle and last mile connections. Upon evaluating existing technology and verifying challenges, the contractor will prioritize areas and offer strategic solutions. All options will be assessed for viability, potential partners will be identified, and funding opportunities will be explored. This includes the American Rescue Plan funding, which this study in itself is eligible for. The goal is to provide citizens experiencing unsatisfactory internet service with a clear path to improved access for essential purposes such as telemedicine, distance learning, and remote work. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Holly. Questions?
You know, I have no questions, but a comment of gratitude to you, Holly. Great appreciation for the many years of work that you've put into looking at rural broadband and making sure that our entire county is well served. We know that with 48% of our county being open space and so much of it being rural, access to that fourth utility is absolutely critical. Not only is it a traffic solution, meaning that people don't have to travel to a big box in the tech center to get their work done, but it really is, again, that fourth utility that allows people to operate their lives. So I'm really pleased by the ARPA direction and that this is a part of what we may pursue in terms of providing access to rural broadband. We know that many people in our community are served by broadband, but in terms of high speed, we may really be struggling there. So it's a priority for me to ensure that everyone in our community has that high speed access. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Layden.
No questions, Chair, but I do have a couple of comments. First comment, again, Holly, we made you do a lot of work getting this all together, so thank you very much. But I'd also like to give a hat tip to Pete Smith, one of our residents from the Keene Ranch area here in the county, who approached me. Madam Chair, I think he might have approached you too. I think he was pigeonholing as many of us as he could, and really kind of gave us sort of the germ of what we're proceeding forward with. So, Pete, if you're listening, well done. Otherwise, I'm sure we'll hear from him soon. But he did a great job. So if you know Pete Smith, please give him a thanks. My next comment, I do want to mostly address to the folks who might be listening in or watching online. When we started working on this, some of our conversations we had as a board, we've seen what other communities did to form a whole nother branch of government to deal with broadband issues. And of course, we've heard in the last year the reliance people have had on broadband, with the shutdowns, with COVID and everything. So we wanted to do something, but I don't think we felt comfortable at all really creating this whole other utility here in the county. So this is the direction we're going. Obviously, we've had a lot of good work. There's plenty of work left to be done. And of course, to my board members, obviously, we're going to have public comment here in a moment, and we'll be happy to hear from the public on this one. But I really think this is the way to go, and I definitely endorse this as a course of action for the board in Douglas County.
Thank you, Commissioner Teal, also for pointing out what I was going to talk about. So thank you. We have seen other...
Did I steal your thunder this time?
No. You're just reinforcing my thunder. I'm going to reinforce yours. How's that?
Awesome.
We have seen other governments actually believe that delivering private sector services like broadband is a government role. And they are taxing their citizens, the citizens agreed to tax themselves to provide internet. And so I'm really proud that this board does not believe that that fourth utility, as Commissioner Layden called it, is a government responsibility. We are going to leave that to the private sector, but we are going to help the private sector figure out where we need their help and how we can help them deliver those services to make our citizens more efficient and happier, so they have better internet. So with that, I will open it up. Is there anyone in the room who would like to address this topic to the board? Seeing no one come forward, Troy, is there anyone online?
I have no online comments at this time.
Thank you. I will close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for a motion.
Chair, if it pleases the board, I'd like to make a motion to approve a contract with Broadband Services in the amount of $139,815.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. Thank you. And the final item on today's regular agenda is item D. This is a resolution assigning and transferring to the Douglas County Housing Partnership some funds, and I see the very capable Tina Dill at the microphone. Tina.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tina Dill, representing Community Development. I'll be pulling up my PowerPoint now. Thank you. The request before you today is to approve assigning Douglas County's 2021 private activity bond cap to the Douglas County Housing Partnership. The allocation is for $12,379,695. It would be used to finance multifamily housing units for families earning no more than 60% of the area median income. Private activity bonds are tax-exempt bonds that can be used for housing, manufacturing, infrastructure, or environmental projects. The primary purpose of the PAB program is to encourage private investment for these specific purposes. Douglas County receives an annual allocation of PAB cap through the Colorado Department of Local Affairs using a population-based formula. State law requires that the county take action regarding the use or reassignment of the PAB cap prior to the September 15th deadline. The action the towns of Castle Rock and Parker also receive a PAB allocation. The county partners with Castle Rock and Parker to combine PAB cap through an annual assignment to DCHP, and with approval by the commissioners today, the combined PAB assignment to DCHP will be $19,362,842. The Douglas County Housing Partnership has an intergovernmental agreement in place to act as the issuing authority of PAB cap allocation. This agreement allows them to issue, manage, and preserve the PAB cap assigned to them. Developers continually express interest in using the PAB as a financial tool. Typically, PAB accumulation over 2 to 3 years is needed to finance and build multifamily housing. It's staff's recommendation to you today that the Board of County Commissioners approve the resolution assigning Douglas County's 2021 PAB cap of $12,379,695 to the Douglas County Housing Partnership for the multifamily housing purposes. This concludes my presentation, and Diane Leavesley, the Executive Director of the Douglas County Housing Partnership, is in the audience, and we're both available to answer any questions you might have for us today.
Thank you, Tina. Before I bring Diane up, does the board have any questions for Tina?
You know, I don't have any questions, but again, some thanks to you, Tina, and certainly our tremendous thanks to Diane Leavesley and the Affordable Housing Group in Douglas County. We know that housing that's affordable is an issue here, and ensuring that our service members, people that are disabled, veterans, people that work in restaurants, nurses need to have places to live. And we also know that affordable housing is, again, a traffic solution when people don't have to drive an hour away to get to Douglas County where they work. So that remains a priority, and I'm glad that we're moving forward with this resolution today.
Thank you, Commissioner Layden. Commissioner Teal?
No, ma'am.
I have no questions either. Diane, would you like to come forward? If you could give your name, spell your last name, please.
Sure. Diane Leavesley, Leavesley. I just want to reiterate what a great program this is. In 2013, Parker and Castle Rock decided to partner to provide their private activity bond cap to the housing partnership, and then 2 years later, the county also did. So with that amount of bond cap, we've seen 2 properties built that are fully occupied and 3 that are currently under construction. 2 for seniors, 3 for families, and a total of about 825 units. So it's really another example of a partnership that's working. And I also always like to make note that this isn't real money. This is our opportunity to issue the right for bonds to be issued, not anything that the county actually provides in funds. So with that, I'll just answer any questions if there are any.
Questions for Diane?
I have none.
No.
Yeah, no questions, but Diane, great job leading us on the housing partnership. The other elected officials that are on it, as well as myself, we all look to your experience, your wise counsel on how we help solve, we're an affluent community, but we do have people in need. And so I definitely appreciate the help and guidance you've given me coming onto the Housing Partnership Board. And looking forward to how we're going to make use of this and still benefit from your leadership.
Well, thank you. I'm going to make one more comment based on what you said. Most of these apartment complexes are housing people that make between $40,000 and $60,000 a year. So it's a help over the cost of market rate housing, but it's certainly working people who need this. And then I'm always so formal when I'm up here, but I'm going to say one more thing. Bumped into Barbara at the Douglas County Fair on Saturday, both of us with our grandchildren. So thank you for that opportunity to attend. We really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. If I could just add that Sometimes when people hear the words affordable housing, they have a negative feeling and they think, we don't want those people in our community. And I think it was really made clear by several comments here that these are our teachers, these are nurses, our people who work in our human services department have to have a master's degree and they make maybe $40,000 a year. And so these are respectable human beings that are doing the best they can. And by us offering them a hand up, they are able to save money and get into housing that is their own. And I think it's really important as we see more and more comments about affordable housing. I saw a presentation by the Common Sense Institute a couple of months ago that really made sense to me, that said up until 2008, the supply and the demand for housing was very constant. But after the recession in 2008, the supply diminished. And so we have this situation now where supply is coming in this way, but demand is coming this way. And the demand continues to increase faster than the supply. So as demand increases more and more, supply can't catch up. And that's what makes affordable housing so important. Because if we can keep people off the street this way, it solves our homelessness problem as well. So I'm very supportive of this program, Diane, and thank you for everything you do to lead it. With that, I will be opening this up for citizen comment. Are there any citizens who would like to address the board on this topic? Seeing no one in the hearing room come forward, Troy, is there anyone online?
I have no online comments on this topic.
Thank you. I will close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve a resolution assigning and transferring to the Douglas County Housing Partnership all of Douglas County, Colorado's 2021 private activity bond allocation and authorizing the assignment of allocation in connection therewith with the bond amount of $12,379,695.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 And that motion carries. Thank you. With that, we are going to move on to other business, which is the supplemental item that was posted yesterday before 1:30. This is supplemental item number A. This is the resolution in support of our young people regarding the Delta variant and the appreciation for sound science-based public policy from partner governments. Commissioner Layden, would you like to do this?
I would. Are we going to have time for comment afterward, or would you like that before?
We can do it after you read the resolution if you'd like.
Sure. So this is a resolution in support of our young people regarding the Delta variant and appreciation for sound science-based public policy from partner governments. Whereas Douglas County citizens have accepted and practiced strong personal responsibility during the COVID-19 pandemic to protect the most vulnerable and at risk in our community. And whereas in the post-vaccine era, citizens have overcome most severity outcomes associated with the early stages of the pandemic, as indicated by current public health statistics. And whereas hospitalization rates and deaths from COVID-19 and associated variants remain exceedingly low, and whereas all eligible age groups in the county have high vaccination rates, and in particular, those age 70 plus and considered most vulnerable have received one or more vaccinations at a rate of 97%. And whereas the CDC has indicated that the vaccine is 96% effective against hospitalizations and death from the Delta variant. And whereas young people in particular are remarkably unlikely to experience severity from COVID-19 or its variants, and even more unlikely to contract them if vaccinated. And whereas the concern around asymptomatic transmission among young people has dissipated as virtually 100% of those that wish to receive the vaccine have had an opportunity to receive it, including the most vulnerable. And whereas it is not unexpected that those who chose not to be vaccinated might contract and transmit the virus primarily to other unvaccinated individuals. And whereas mask orders have been enacted and removed repeatedly over the past 17 months, creating confusion and mental fatigue and with questionable results. And whereas a young person's ability to see, appreciate, and communicate through facial expressions is crucial to social development, mental health, and physical well-being. And whereas with the elimination of mandates, children have been attending gatherings and reconnecting with friends and family, participating in sporting and play activities, dining out, and interacting daily in their normal routines, resulting in positive mental health impacts. And whereas the scientific data and 1.5 years of COVID-19 public policy unequivocally indicate citizens and businesses in the post-vaccine era should use their full discretion when and if to wear or require masks. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Douglas County will not succumb to fear-based policymaking based upon sensational media reports regarding the Delta variant, but instead will reflect soundly upon scientific data provided by public health experts associated with severity, as it has for 17 months. And Douglas County will not overreact to rare but overreported examples of vaccinated individuals experiencing severity from the Delta variant, nor create public policy that negatively and disproportionately impacts its citizens, especially young people. And while Douglas County respects and agrees with the strong recommendations of public health officials to vaccinate, Douglas County will not be engaging in activities that would compel or force vaccinations upon those that choose not to have them. And finally, while Douglas County respectfully recognizes the sovereignty of the Douglas County School District, charter schools, private schools, and other educational institutions, the Board of County Commissioners wishes to encourage and express its gratitude to these partner entities on behalf of its citizens, and parents in particular, for not imposing further oppressive mask orders or other unnecessary restrictions upon our young people at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Lane. Would you like to make some comments?
You know, I will wait till the end since I had a lot to say there.
Okay. Commissioner Teal.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I actually definitely agree with this resolution. I think this is a good message to put out right now. I still say we're in this post-pandemic phase, and, you know, we're probably in a time when COVID is becoming endemic. I mean, we have flu season every year. We're probably going to be in this period perhaps for years, perhaps forever. And the bottom line is we need to, as stated in the resolution, we need to stop treating this as an emergent crisis and start learning how to live with it in a way that still allows our society to run, still allows our children to have normal lives in schools, and allows us to get back to, maybe it's a new normal, but get back to normal.
Thank you, Commissioner Teal.
So this is important today. I know that there is a lot of conversation in our community and certainly throughout the region with regard to masking in schools. We certainly respect our partner governments and appreciate the recommendations that they've provided without issuing mandates. And ultimately, what we're dealing with is a war against misinformation. And there are a lot of scary things on national news media, on social media, that can be confusing, concerning, and certainly create fear among our citizens. But it's so important to honor the science, follow the facts, and look at the current data. We are in active communication with our 5 area hospitals, and we are very thankful for the updated data that we get daily with regards to hospitalizations, the rates, and the current capacity. As of today, there is 13.9% in our inpatient beds, and we have a remarkable amount of capacity for inpatient beds in Douglas County. Our area directors have told us that the hospitals are not currently in danger of being threatened by this variant. I think it's also important to recognize, again, the pervasive failure of many to bifurcate between cases and severity. When people see case numbers, it can be frightening. But this board has really tried to look closely at severe symptoms of hospitalizations and deaths. We know from the data that it is highly unlikely that a vaccinated individual will contract COVID-19 or its variant. But of the rare few that do get COVID-19 or its variant, the vast majority will not result in hospitalization or death. So I thank this board for continuing to honor sound and science-driven public policy as it relates to COVID-19, and I wish our young people the best.
Thank you, Commissioner Layden. Staff provided us with some information the other day, and as I was reading through it, there are statistics that they provided to us from various sources indicated you were more likely to die by getting in your car and driving than contracting COVID. And when I read that, I was stunned because it made me ask, why in the world are we doing what we are doing because of COVID when you're more likely to die by driving your car? And so that is when I really realized that we need to make a stand, that people need to choose for themselves. If people feel more comfortable wearing a mask, then that's what they should do. But I am really concerned about our kids. And at the end of this meeting, I'm going to talk about, during commissioner comments, why I'm so concerned about our kids. And that is the reason why I'm supporting this as well. So with that, I'm going to open it up to citizen comment. Are there any citizens in the room who would like to discuss this with the board? Seeing no one come forward, Troy, is there anyone online?
I have no online comment on this item.
Thank you. I will bring it back to the board. Are there any final comments, or are you ready to make a motion?
I'm very prepared to make a motion, Chair. If it pleases the board, I'd like to make a motion to approve a resolution in support of our young people regarding the Delta variant and appreciation for sound science-based public policy from partner governments.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. Thank you. The county manager has submitted an excellent report. Do you have anything else to add, Mr. DeBoard? Thank you. I'll bring it back then for just final commissioner comments. Anybody with comments?
Just a brief comment. It was, as many of you are aware, I came into office this January, and so had the real pleasure to experience my first county fair, not just as the guy who lives 5 minutes down the street and always tries to go every year, but actually as a county commissioner, as a member of the fair board. It was a real pleasure. I want to thank all members of the Fair Board, and especially the Fair Foundation, who put in so much time, so much effort to actually bring everything together, do all the planning for us, and bring just such a great amenity to our community. It preserves and celebrates our Western heritage, and it preserves and celebrates so many of our Colorado traditions and Douglas County traditions. So thank you, Chair, for allowing me to make those comments, and thanks to the folks who helped put on such a great fair this year.
Thank you, Commissioner Teal. On July 28th, last month, my fellow commissioners and I had the opportunity to meet with Sandra and Stephanie from Children's Hospital. And they talked to us about the reasons why they issued a state of emergency for mental health at Children's Hospital because of the extreme increase in behavioral health issues and suicide attempts that they are seeing in our young kids. These attempts are increasing, and the greatest need that Children's Hospital has is for quick resources for families, specifically in the area of outpatient therapy. So while this is going on, we also heard yesterday from one of our partners, All Health Network. All Health has a plan to build a walk-in crisis center and a crisis stabilization unit that could have up to 16 beds for 5 to 21-year-olds. And so this just shows why we have to let people do what's right for themselves. And in the meantime, we can use our ARPA funds to backfill and help people get through what they've been through for the last 18 months. So I just want to let everybody know, while there are issues, we have an excellent Douglas County Mental Health Initiative, in big part to Barbara Drake. And so we are seeing a decrease in suicides in our county. And I, as one commissioner, am very interested in continuing supporting the mental health programs that we have here in place in our county. One last chance, Commissioner Layden.
I am all set. I will say that our county fair hit some record numbers, and I would just echo Commissioner Teal's comments that on each night, including Family Day, which I believe was the first time in Douglas County history, there was a sellout crowd, and I really want to congratulate our young people in the junior livestock sale. I was told that they were able to achieve close to $600,000 in sales that evening, which I believe is also a record. So again, huge thanks to the Fair Foundation and the Fair Board and all those staff that were engaged in the county fair.
Thank you. Before I close this meeting, Troy, is Bill Vincent still on wanting to make a comment?
Yes, Madam Chair, he is, and I'm going to go ahead and unmute him if it's okay with you.
Please.
Okay, Mr. Vincent, you are unmuted. Go ahead. Mr. Vincent? Please unmute yourself. It appears we are having technical difficulties. It looks like he's calling in on his phone. I do have him unmuted, but apparently we're still not able to hear him. I will ask him to chat his comment so we can make it part of the record.
Thank you, Troy. And with that, I will end today's business meeting. The next business meeting will be held on Tuesday, August 24th at 1:30 in the afternoon. We will begin at 2:30 today with the Woodmore Mountain and then our land use. Thank you.
Hey guys, with Woodmore Mountain.